Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast.
One second. It says Ami first.
I apologize.
This is our podcast. All jokes aside, welcome back to our podcast, Ami Athletics and Kaykov Media. This is probably the most different, the most special. I mean, all our podcasts are special, but this one is definitely going to be one, in my opinion, that is going to...
On the books.
For the books. Definitely for the books. We have not a very special guest. We have the special guest over here, whose chair I'm sitting in, whose cameras we're using.
He decided to be in front of the camera this time.
So now instead of being behind the cameras, he's in front of the cameras. And I think we have a lot of great questions, great content, and he has a lot to share with us. He doesn't really need an introduction, but the introduction is he's a man of the community. He's a person who Bukharian community put as a nominee for Person of the Year.
Bukharian Person
got
of the Year.
Over 500 votes or whatever it was. It was very close, and from the thing I saw. Boris Kaykov.
Yes, thank you.
So just introduce yourself a little bit. I mean, everyone more or less knows you, so we need to know things that people don't know about you.
I hear you. Well, thank you for having us. So I've been part of the community practically all my life. Me and my brother, we've been helping, moving things, anything that's going on in our community, we're usually a part of. It's just something that is in our blood, in our DNA. My father did the same thing. My grandfather, and we're just I don't know how, we're just involved.
Wow. So
Doers.
So what do you, when you say involved, everyone has a different definition of what involved means.
Correct.
So I see, okay, Kaykov Media is yours, right? You have a huge sponsorship, probably the biggest sponsorship that Ami has. Ami has a lot of sponsorships. I think the biggest sponsorship that Ami has is with Kaykov Media. I'm talking, I don't know if we're allowed to disclose the value amount.
No, not necessary.
Not necessary, but it's a high value amount.
I'm saying every game recorded.
Every game.
There's a guy there, right?
Podcasts, reels, whatever, cups, whatever it is.
A team.
Teams, yeah. So the value amount is very high. Probably, like I said, one of the biggest. So just tell us, first of all, you said you're involved. So what does that mean to you to be involved?
So the way I look at things, there are people who can help financially. There are people who can help as a lawyer. We try to use our tools and what we can bring to, let's say, Ami Athletics, like video production, podcast, whatever we can to help out, to elevate any brand, product, community, whatever it is that we're doing. This is what we bring to help out.
So my question is like this: meaning you're doing this for free for us, right? As a sponsorship, as a chesed, whatever it is. So when did this for you start, and where does it come from?
It comes from 3 generations. My grandfather my whole family were just
like your father ever sat you down as a kid and said, "Listen, Boris, you're gonna have to go and give your time to where does it come from?"
Yeah, honestly, it was me observing my father when he would actually go out of his way for other people, and it's just the same thing. It's just in our DNA where we just go and help. We are like selfless, and we drop everything that we're doing in the house or with the family and go out and help out. Wow. And this is how we are.
So when did this journey start for you? When would you say the journey started for you?
I guess when I took certain things upon myself, becoming a business owner. I honestly, since I was 11, 12 years old, I was helping my father doing wedding photography, videos.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was on my legs. I don't know if you know, back in the day, it was Leonard's all day, every day. There was no other restaurants. We practically lived there. So that's how it all started. And I observed. I'm an observant person, and I view things from the sidelines.
Interesting.
And that's how it evolved who I am today. Me and my brother, of course.
And now going forward, I was told that, I was never there, but you opened up a teen lounge.
I didn't open up. I was a part of a teen lounge, yes.
Sorry. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So there, I think it was Bijo, it was called. And Bukharian Jewish Youth Center, something like that. And we were doing various events, Purims, Hanukkah. We had parties that we threw back in the day with DJs, and we had like 400 or 500 Bukharian community kids, well, teenagers, college students who are part of it. And
What was the vision for this? Like, what
the
was the
vision is
purpose?
to unite.
To unite.
To unite. That was the main goal all the time. And now that, we have Army Athletics right now, again, we're uniting. This is what brings me back. I enjoy when our community is united and together. That's what it's all about for me.
So I'm saying that was going to lead into my next question, but you kind of just answered it. What is your passion?
My passion is to unite, is to give back. We can do so many things in life selfishly, selflessly. Not selfishly.
Selfishly, okay.
But I think it's important to do it for somebody else. Just like when you're praying for somebody else. When you're praying for somebody else, God hears you. And that's what it is.
Interesting. And you also are the president of the shul.
Yes, Bukharian Community Center of Jamaica States. Yes.
So my question is how, I mean, listen, you have kids also as well, right?
Absolutely.
How many kids you have?
Thank God I have 4 blessings.
4, Baruch Hashem. So you have 4 kids, you have a business, you're president. How do you balance your passion with your responsibilities?
Honestly, it's not simple, but thank God, if you are on the right path, you know where you're headed and what you need to achieve in life. I think everything is going to be nice and smooth. Obviously, there's obstacles all the time, problems that need to be solved on a regular basis, but for the most part, everything has been working out. I've been consistently going to pray for the last couple of years since my father passed away. So I'm just always there and helping out. So they decided to nominate me. There was a decision that was made, but I was one of the nominees to be a president.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know, because I'm helpful, I guess. I don't know.
I'm asking you to compliment yourself. I know this might be hard for you.
It's very hard. I'm not usually a person that compliments, but I'm just a helpful person. If somebody asks for a helping hand, I'm there.
If you see something, you say something.
That's it. That's what it is.
So, listen, that in terms of time management, a lot of that is going to come into a person, usually very successful people, they have to be very on top of their time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And balancing all of that with, you say you have a passion to help, okay, but you also have a responsibility to a shul. You have a responsibility to your kids. You have a responsibility to your business. You
Absolutely.
have, you have Richie calling you. Yeah. And so all these things, I don't know how, when a person who's very busy and especially a person who has a passion to help, it's like, okay, how do you divide that, and how do you know where the boundary is of like, all right, this is where I draw the line, because you said there's struggles, right? And in anything there's struggles. So if you could tell us a little bit about your struggles of your growing pains, I guess.
Growing pains. It's hard to say. I mean, the last couple of years were a little tough when my father was sick and managing the workflow and being with my father every night till he was gone. And my wife was pregnant during that whole process. So that was the most it was very challenging, because when a woman is pregnant, she needs attention also. So that part was very, very hard for me during that time. And thank God,
So what was something that helped you get through that time?
Peace of mind. I think me going and praying every morning really helped me, to unwind and just to pray to Hashem.
Wow.
Clear the mind.
Clear the mind.
And you felt like what we call Yeshua. You felt like a comfort in that, in talking to God.
Salvation.
Absolutely. And now till this day, I pray every morning, but I prayed from home. Now that I'm with a minyan, is a different feeling.
Wow, that's very.
So that's how it was for me.
Wow.
Yes. So that's why I still come to the synagogue every morning. Since
you're the president now. So.
choice. In a way, it was okay. I'm gonna become the president. It gives me another reason to stay. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But I'm there.
So let me ask you a question. When I want to do a little bit of wordplay with you.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna say a word, and you just tell me what comes up at the top of your head.
Okay.
It doesn't, it's just, I just want to see where.
You want to pick my brain? I understand.
I want to pick your brain. If I say the word Bukharian.
Yes. What does that mean to me?
It could mean a word. It could mean a sentence. It could
Culture.
mean a cup. Culture. Okay.
I'll elaborate.
Yeah.
I think where our roots and where we come from, how we united, let's say, the weddings that we go to and how we gather people together, or a memorial. You got hundreds of people come to your memorial, just from a phone call. Everybody gets together and they unite. That's what it comes down to, right? Everybody is together and helping each other, showing support, and that's what's important. I think that plays a big role.
So let me ask you a question, because you have a passion for uniting people, but you also feel like the Bukharians are naturally united.
Yeah, but sometimes they need a little push. Some people are off the charts.
What does that mean?
Meaning they're off the radar, and we want to bring them back.
They're falling through the cracks.
Yes.
I know, but what does that meaning off the radar? Because I know there's some Bukharians, like I joke about this, they're Bukh. They're Bukharian. They live somewhere, and then you meet them and you're like, you're Bukharian? There's that. And then there's people, let's say, that are not so observant. There's people that are, say, they changed their last name so people don't know they're Bukharian. So what do you mean that there are people that fell through the cracks, and what's the benefit of bringing them back?
The benefit is really, it's for them to understand that at the end of the day, it all comes back. The world is round. It all comes back to the part where we unite. And if you have a bad moment or a good moment in your life, you gather those people, or they come by themselves. And then later you'll see, you know what? These are my roots. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
And what do you think is the best way to unite the Bukharians?
Honestly, this from a teenage perspective, for kids, this is amazing. Army athletics, it's a very unique concept that definitely should come through and build a facility for our young generation. From this, I think we'll be able to teach them morals and culture and unity.
So so the goal really, so what you're saying is that the real goal in the end of the day is not just, the unity is just a means to an end.
It's a stage.
It's a stage, meaning it's just a building block. Like
Correct.
Getting everyone in a room to play sheshbesh is not, it's cute, but to play sheshbesh so that they can unite, to learn their roots, so that therefore now we participate as a community together. We come together and build on that.
Correct.
And let's say, take care of communal needs, whether it's mental health, whether it's divorce, whether it's, people who are struggling with drugs, financially,
we have
whatever
a lot
it
of
is.
everything. We have a lot of everything. And if we can focus and help, obviously we can't help the whole world, but we can do as much as we can.
Not everybody can do everything, but everybody can do something.
Of course, if we help one person, that's already a big mitzvah.
Right. Like he said, that he gives his tools and his skills, and then imagine each person will also give their tools, their skills, that lawyer, that doctor, that banker, that media production, and then you have all these needs being taken care of as a unity. But if it's one person, how could one person do it all?
Correct. That's what it is.
But it's another thing that you mentioned about juggling everything. We're they're businessmen who are also trying to go to shul every day and learn and take care of their family and the community. A rabbi and his needs and his time frame and whatever he does. But in Egypt, it's interesting. Moshe came and last week he said that he's going to redeem the Jewish people, and everybody's on board. Everybody's like, I'm with you. And then he says to Paro something. Paro says, okay, that's it. No more bricks provided. You guys have to make your own bricks. Now they have to work harder. And Moshe came second time to tell them, okay, I'm going to redeem you. He gives the 4 languages of redemption, the 4 cups of wine on Pesach Seder. And all of a sudden the Jews said, we're out. Mikotze Ruach, it says that they didn't believe him anymore. That's it. You ruined it for us. You look what you did. You open your mouth. Now Paro's on top of us. He's making us work harder. What did you do? It's like when they say, yeah, the new mayor, yeah. And then all of a sudden, what did this mayor do? Oh, we don't like it. Oh, they're all against him, right? And the sages say, Mikotze Ruach means 3 things. Shortness of spirit means that, number 1, they were worried about what other people around them are saying. The Egyptians were a big influence, and a lot of people didn't want to do Brit. They started changing their name to Egyptian last names. They said, my father's a slave, my grandfather's a slave. Why would I want to be a slave? I'll just be Egyptian. Sure, that's it. Get rid of this problem. Don't be Jewish anymore. Number 2 is there was habits. You are where your thoughts are, the Baal Shem Tov says. You are what habits you build. There's a small video they send around that there's a guy who wakes up. He could wake up early and go to the gym, or he snoozes and goes back to sleep. And then he goes and he opens the fridge. He could grab the healthy or snack, or he grabs the chips and the and the not healthy snack. And then you fast forward these small habits. You do let's say 3 years, and you see two completely different people. This guy's all chubby with like acne and like all like not feeling well. He has to go to the doctor. The other guy's like all this buff, good-looking guy, and he's like healthy and he's happy. All from these small little decisions or these small habits we build. And their habit was slave mentality. You know how many people work their 9 to 5? They don't want to leave their 9 to 5. They said, but what's going to be? Like who says I'm going to get parnasa if I try to get another job? So I'll stay working for the boss I hate, the job I hate, because who says it's going to be any better over there, and who says I'm going to find something else? Just habits. It's hard to go out of your comfort zone. And the last thing he said is that a person has no time to think, and that's what the Mesilat Yesharim says. The Paro did the number one thing. Is to no time to think. You're working. You came home exhausted at 9 o'clock. You asked, did you put tefillin today? Let me give me a food, give me a shower, go to my bed. That's it. There's nothing to do. What do you want from me? Leave me alone. So therefore, that's what the Yitzhar wants today. I think the world knows attention is so valuable today. How to get people's attention. Yeah. How do I make a video like 6 seconds? So you have to say the whole message fast because people's attention span is like a goldfish, like they're not going to understand. You have to put it in there with like production value, and it has to be all nice lighting, and it has to be zoomed in at the angle, all this. You have to pack it into such a little thing, because if we get their attention, if you get them for 6 seconds, you could get them for 2 hours on the app. You go on the, you go.
I post a lot on Instagram for my business, and if a story is 7 seconds long, my engagement will drop by more than half.
Wow.
And if I put out a story that's like 3 seconds, my views for the day will like triple sometimes.
But you take for them a small amount of time, but they're going to give you in the end a lot of time. In the sense, it's so funny.
If you're able to reel them in, yeah. You know what's
They'll
funny?
spend 2 hours looking at you.
You know what's funny? Actually, Family Guy had an episode once about this. The 6-second talk show. Lahavdil, yeah. That was their whole pitch. They had a 6-second talk show, and it was the hottest thing in the world. It was like, good morning, everyone. What's up? Gotta go. 6 seconds. Like, and it was the hottest thing, because our attention, and to your point, when we don't have free time to think, you come home, right? What do? You're on your phone. You're in bed, you're on your phone. Like Shabbat is really the only time we have, and it's so different that like people lose their minds on Shabbat. Like,
Shabbat you can lose too.
Right now, I don't know when to use my mind.
Shabbat you can lose too. You could just sleep the whole Shabbat also.
Well, it's easy to. We look for things to kind of. Right. It's hard to tap into that now. I remember because I can say this, so you can say this. You definitely can. We all can say this because we grew up without iPhones.
Yes.
So when like we got used to just being in our own head, and I see like. Today, as kids get older, and the younger generation, they're not used to that.
You can't walk to shul without holding something in your phone, looking at it. Oh, I'm gonna walk 5 minutes without holding something.
Exactly.
I'm saying he touched on that before, of like how tefillah, how davening was what we call like a menuchas hanefesh for you, was like comforting of the soul for you.
Yes.
Now, I mean, I think a lot of things come into play about being able to talk to God and venting out, and also being able to disconnect from your surroundings. Right, of being able to pull the plug from your surroundings. Like everyone in life, in different stages of life will go through a hard time. Your father's sick, I imagine, is a very hard time, especially from how close you say you were to him, plus your wife being pregnant. And then probably you having to take over the business side of it. So you coming to davening, you coming to shul and sitting wherever you are, putting on your tefillin and saying, all right, your phone is in your pocket, your everything kind of moves aside and you're just focused on one thing. I think that can really clear your mind. And like you said, it helped you through your strongest struggle, just being able to tune out the negativity or tune out the hardship. And it's not saying to ignore it. It's not saying to
run away from it.
Run away from it. It's just saying some people do. Some people do. Well, that's why people.
Now he's embracing it.
You're saying that, hey, for me to be a son and a husband, I need this time to myself. That therefore I can come back home and I can be the best son and husband I can be. And you found that through tefillah, which is what tefillah was actually made for, and it happened to have coincided with what you were looking for, like in this like magical, whatever.
The actual mitzvah of tefillah is not 3 times a day. The actual mitzvah is just to talk to God once a day.
Yeah, or in the time of need, yeah.
And I'm saying, so if you just are driving in your car and you reach out to God, you did the mitzvah of tefillah more than 3 times a day. Right. Obviously now we have to do it 3 times a day because it's what our Rabbanim decreed upon us. But That a lot of people told me they randomly in the middle of the night they'll just go to a field or a forest and they'll just talk to God. You know?
Everyone,
It's called
teach
both
their
groups,
own.
but teach their own. But yeah, it's so important.
But you have to understand that a lot of people will say, I don't have time to go to pray in the morning. I'm sorry. I say the Shema, the Amidah, and I just go on my work day. Or I don't have time to go to a lecture. Or I don't have time to read some self-help books and to work out or whatever it is. Do anything that's healthy for yourself. And that's the difference. There's no such thing as you will have time. The Yitzhar today doesn't let us have time. You have to make time. You have to make. So I heard somebody say, I don't know if you guys know this. He's a real estate agent in Manhattan. His name's Ryan Serhant. He's very up there. He says your day starts the night before.
All right.
He says the night before he sits and he plans his whole day, what he's going to do, and if you don't grab either time, it's just going to float through your hands. It's going to fly through. Because the Gemara says whatever you're not obligated to do, you don't pay attention to. Meaning to say, you could go in a room and I tell you, look for anything that's blue, and you'll tell me everything that's blue. But I tell you what was red. Oh, I don't know, remember. Right? Because you weren't obligated to do it. You didn't pay attention to it. So the same thing, if you're not obligating yourself to know what you're doing with your time, you're not going to pay attention to it. It's going to fly. And the biggest thing that that could kill us is the thing called killing time. Killing time. Just to pass the time. We have to realize that all the older people will look at us and say, Sinog, when I was your age, if I wish I was your age, if only I was your age, and I had the strength and the power and the time and the this. So we have to constantly remind ourselves of that. But just another thing I want to mention that you regards to balancing everything is if you don't have these let's say meditations, you don't have this prayer, you don't have this way to psych yourself up and to sort of boost your mind to be able to handle all the stress, you'll collapse, you'll break, you'll hit a brick wall, you have like a midlife crisis, and that's when Chas Shalom, divorce comes out, that's when drugs come out, that's when you make rash decisions, you see people in the community do something really weird or something like, whoa, why did that happen, and we have to all give ourselves some cushion. You find time during the day to do some self-reflection, do something healthy for yourself. I know a guy, he tells me he's very religious too. I go to shul, I go to my house, I go to my work, that's it, just rinse, wash, repeat. I said, yeah, but look at you, how you're, you're about to crack. He can't handle the stress. He's like so much cooped up in his mind. He's all wound up so tight. I'm like, you need something. You need an outlet. If
that's why unity is so important, especially Ami. Like people might say, especially you, a rabbi, you're on the chat. That's also
that chat.
That's the greatest chat of all time.
Yeah,
that's the goat of chat.
I think it's the quietest it's ever been this week.
We should add you for like a couple of hours.
Bring him in,
and you're gonna see the.
He's not gonna last couple hours. He's gonna say 1,500 messages. Get me out of here.
I can literally go on a Saturday night and I'm out with my wife for 2 hours. I go on my phone and I have like 1,000 plus messages.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the craziest thing is I read through every single one. Wow. I need to know what just happened. I need to know exactly what.
Ariel's like, wait 1 second. I'm still 3 pages ago.
I want to just get back to you for a second, in terms of like your passion to help the community, because I wanted to ask you this before, but I look at you as a person who's boots on the ground, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Boots on the ground is that between being president of the shul, between having a media company that you're doing weddings, you're doing you're involved memorials. So you have a lot of the Bukharian culture walking through your door. You meet with them on a daily basis, right? The core, the nucleus, let's call it. So what do you think, and I asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you it a little bit in a different way. Where do you think our struggle is for the youth? Because I'm asking you very personally, like Mr. Kaykov. Asking a personal question and I'm asking you, and the reason why I'm phrasing it this way is because I'm trying to draw on your experience. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a rabbi, he has different boots on the ground. If you want to say, what's the problem on 47th Street, you can ask us different boots on the, whatever it is, right? So, but as a community figure, as Bukharian community put you as, nominated you, you have different boots on the ground that I think anyone watching can really learn from, and your opinion has value. Your opinion has weight. So like I said, Bukharian, you said culture. You said, okay, what's the culture? Unity, right? We're building on this. So now...
If you would say youth, what would he say?
Bukharian youth.
Purpose. You got to give a person purpose in order for him to execute or find themselves.
Okay, so now...
And I think Ami Athletics builds on that. As
helps
the kids
guide the person.
Correct.
Right.
You feel like the youth doesn't have when you say purpose, you mean
There
direction.
are the direction, yes, but there are still people who need that help. They need to find themselves.
And how do you see that? Like where do you see that we're missing that? Like you see people coming into your office and you see like, well, these guys are saying
Some out of the picture, some are in. You know, there are, listen, let's look at it this way. We have young kids who are growing, right? They're in college. Some of them don't go to college. They become whatever they become, a barber, a jeweler, whatever it is. They don't go to college. They even drop out of school. They don't even take the time to learn. Today, you really don't need to go to college. Let's be real.
I agree with that.
You can turn on a YouTube channel, look at and teach you everything.
Yeah.
The question is, do you have the desire to learn?
Yes.
That's what it's all about. If you don't have that desire, they need to find something that they're good at or a purpose in life. What are they here for?
I mean,
So they're saying that the kids have the desire, or they don't have the desire.
Everybody's different.
Varies.
Yeah, I mean, I met guys who do have a phenomenal desire. They're amazing kids, and some of them don't. They don't really have it in them, but they haven't found themselves. That's what
And if we would have like turned up the heat inside of them,
Absolutely.
they would be on fire. They would be producers,
Of
big,
course.
huge producers,
anything is possible. We just need to find what they're good at and their passion.
and spark them.
And I think, athletics, what's good there, people communicate physically to each other, not
Yes.
through their phones.
Yes.
They're my friend through Facebook, but physically you don't even know them at all.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down
You
to.
could have someone in the field that you're going for, in a career that you're going for, a business. You have a barber, you have whatever it is, and you're able to connect with them, talk to them, and kind of, it enables you to grow.
Correct.
And it's also that unity, that boost. You know, and I think that you were saying this earlier. The Baal Shem Tov, I think you said it. What you is in your mind is where you're going to go. So if you believe you're going to be successful, you're going to be there.
That's exactly what I manifest every single day, and I am where I'm today because I manifested all the good things and where I'm going to be. That's how my life is.
And the kids, they need that. They need to have that
need that.
similar
How do we
thinking.
get-
That's
so-
something that the Bukharian community struggles with.
What was that?
That positive manifestation, is that something that the Bukharian community struggles with?
Not all. Everybody's different. Some people have it in them. It all depends on the upbringing that they had, and I can't say all are bad or all are good.
The community will help those that are falling through the cracks.
What do you think
Correct.
is a strength from the Bukharian community youth? You said a lot about the kids that you meet and you see a lot of events. What do you think is the strength that we have?
The fact that we're right now shifting towards more religion-based. When I just came to the States in the 90s, the religion wasn't as united. We have more shuls now. We have more Jewish cultural events.
I think they say we have like over 60 shuls already.
Possibly, yeah. And it's amazing, you know. I see more and more people on Saturdays walking to shul. You know, before I don't think we had that as many in the 90s, even the 2000s. And I think it's coming closer. I think it's becoming better. It's more safe.
So the youth has more of this religious strength that
I
with
think
them growing
so.
up.
I mean, what I see, but obviously there are people who are still not as observant, and
Right.
they're okay with it. And you know, their calling didn't come yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It will hit them.
you feel like if the Bukharian community went in a more religious direction, that would give the teens more purpose.
Possibly, depending on what. I mean, you don't have to be religious to find purpose.
I like your answers because they're very calculated but evasive. It depends on
Politically
what.
correct.
Politically correct. I like it.
You cannot really
I'm
give an
trying to,
answer.
like-
You can't label everybody. Yeah.
You can't label everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different purpose. You don't have to be religious to find purpose.
Right.
So that's what it is.
But religion, being religious is by definition a purpose.
One of the purposes.
Meaning, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Because if you are a religious person, the religion kind of already has a subfloor, right? A foundation of, okay, if I'm going to subscribe to this is the purpose, right? If I'm going to work for Kaykov Media, this is what I'm going to be doing. So already it kind of encompasses that purpose of being an Eved Hashem, being a person who, whatever, it goes on from there. So now my question is, okay, so how do we instill that purpose into the youth, into the grown-ups, into the community? How do we...
I think what we're doing today in all the shuls and the synagogues and memorials that the rabbis are always constantly speaking, we're doing the best we can. You cannot change anybody overnight. I mean, I wasn't religious at all. I was traditional, but I was not religious. I
And what
really
changed?
didn't keep Shabbat. My son actually, I don't know, he has like an old soul, and my kids used to go to public school. So probably around 8 years ago, I took him out from public school because my son was begging me, put me in tuition. He was going to, he was wearing TT to public school. I'm like, I can't do that to him. And I switched them all. I put him into, he was 10, 9 or 10 years old.
Young.
Yeah.
Just from nowhere by himself, he started saying this?
So he used to go to a Jewish camp. And then from Jewish camp, they really changed him.
What camp?
Or Avner.
Or Avner.
Wow.
Shout out to Or Avner. Okay.
Yes, shout out to Or Avner. Absolutely.
Okay, so from your son, so take me through that journey. Okay, from your son.
So, after that happened, my son would drag me out to go to shul on Saturdays. I wouldn't.
It's funny. My father has a very similar story of like he sent his girls to Beis Yaakov, and my sisters would come back and be like, "Pa, you can't watch TV on Shabbat."
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't go.
We had someone who was here recently told us also some woman. Like
That was Michal. It was Michal, no?
Who told his parents.
Oh, it was Nikki. It was Nikki.
Nick on the horror.
Yeah.
He had a similar experience.
So then what? He took to his shul, and eventually
we.
So when did you start keeping Shabbos?
Probably 6 years. 6 years I started keeping Shabbats. 10 years kashrut.
Wow.
So
What was the hardest part of your journey of becoming religious? Like, what was like some people
disconnecting from your phone on Saturdays?
hardest part?
Of course, because this is
part of your life.
Media, your media.
Right, yeah.
It's very hard.
One second. So how did you do it? Like,
I know, little by little. Obviously, it took me time. Process. First, I'll be on my phone. Then a year later, a little less, and I just leave my phone disconnected at home.
Now you can't live without Shabbat disconnected.
That's honestly disconnecting it's a peace of mind.
it's very interesting. It's like, the people who I have an uncle who smokes cigarettes, right? He was heavily addicted. But when it comes to, he smokes his cigarette before Shabbat, and for 24 hours he doesn't think about cigarettes. the second he has his pack of cigarettes and a lighter in the shul that he davens. And the second Shabbat is over, he right away takes it out, smokes it. But the entire 24 hours of Shabbos, his mind just knows that it's it's off limits.
Right.
So it's very interesting that like when it comes to how we can train our brain.
Correct. Program train.
And really like build on that. And it's I don't know, this reminds me, you're going to make fun of me, but it reminds me of a study they did. This person, Dweck, conducted a study of how you really can influence the youth by really just programming and how you talk to the youth and how you talk to someone in general, how you program their brain. They did a study. They took 50 kids. They put them in a classroom. Okay. They split it down the middle, 25. So they gave them a test. They gave them 3 tests. The first test was very easy. The first 25 kids that finished, it was the first 25 kids that finished, they said, "Wow, you are really smart. Good job."
Right.
Said those words. The second 25 kids that finished, they said, "Wow, you tried really hard. Good job." Okay, fine. So now they gave them test 2. So now in the second stage of this study, they gave the kids a choice. Do you want a harder test or an easier test? The kids who were told, "Wow, you're really smart," chose the easier test.
Yeah.
The kids who were told, "Wow, good job, you tried really hard," chose the harder test, right? And they scored. And here, 1 second, and I'm not even at the climax yet. The kids who tried hard and chose the harder test than the smart kids scored higher
No way.
on the harder test than the kids that told they were smart. It was randomized. The kids that were told they were smart scored on the easier test. Okay, fine. Then stage 3 of this is that the people controlling the study gave all 50 kids a test that they were not able to do. I think the kids were 9 years old. I believe the study. The kids were, I think, 9 years old, 5th grade. And they gave the kids a test that the kids were not able to do. And they wanted to see how long each kid would spend their time and try for. And they said that the kids who were told to try, the kids who were told that they tried hard, as opposed to the kids told that they were smart. The kids who were told they were smart, they tried, they saw they couldn't figure it out, and they were done in, I think, an average of 6 minutes, meaning they gave up. The kids who were told that they tried hard tried for 40 plus minutes on average.
Wait, why would I hate this?
You make fun of
me for mental analysts.
That's not making fun of you. I'm complimenting you. Mental analyst. He's the mental analyst. I agree with that.
You know, so
Listen, people you see it in business, the smart people aren't the ones who are making money. It's the people who you punch and they suck, but they get up.
Yes.
And
They
they
have
fail
grit.
and
They
they
have
get
grit.
up. And they fail and they get up. And they believe in themselves and they tell themselves, I can do it. And they can do it. These are the people who are successful, not the people who are smart. Being smart does not get you far in life. It might get you a little farther than a guy who isn't as smart if you do the same exact work and have the same mindset as him.
It's an IQ. It's called EQ. It's
Like
like
he says,
intelligent, emotional.
talent doesn't equal value.
Well, that's for self-esteem, but I'm saying
But
even
this
for
is also a self-esteem thing.
I don't think you should compliment your kid and tell them you're smart. I don't believe it. I think you should tell them that if they did something correct, just to give them motivation that, hey, you know what? You have an ability, but it should be maybe 10% and 90% should be, hey, you know what? I love what you did. I love how you tried. Great effort. You did something good. And it should be you did something, you tried hard, you accomplished. You did something good because we don't want people to just try hard. People think, oh, I tried, I'm good. The ultimate definition of trying is succeeding, in my opinion. If you try and don't succeed, you didn't try hard enough. You got to try and you got to try. So a lot of people today, they say, oh, you know what, I tried, I'm good, I'm done.
Yeah,
I
but
gave my effort.
you see, there are people who are trying, who fail, they don't go again and go further, climbing up another ladder. But there are people who are consistently trying. Those are the entrepreneurs who are
Meaning you
successful.
guys are saying a little bit
we're
different.
agreeing. I agree with you.
You guys are saying agreeing but not agreeing. You're saying keep climbing that ladder, the same ladder. He's saying it's okay.
No, you can
it's
climb
to
the
move
same.
the ladder.
You can move the ladder, or you can climb the same ladder.
The real
saying is-
failure is when you stop trying.
Yes, that's the real
Yeah,
failure.
yeah.
Statistically speaking, the
Yes.
real failure is when you stop trying. So my question
gotta
to
keep
you
going.
is that throughout all your ventures,
Yes.
throughout all your your activities, extracurricular activities in terms of your business, your kids, your family, your community, your presidency, whatever it is, what do you think was your biggest overcoming of struggle? Like, what do you think is your biggest success story?
Achievement.
That your achievement. What's your biggest achievement?
Growing up, my father was a very critical person. It wasn't easy to
Please.
please. Very hard.
say,
Because he's a perfectionist.
Want to impress a Bukharian dad, drown a fish.
And I wasn't really school savvy. I did okay. I got through the years. I didn't go to college.
You were a
But
C student.
huh?
You were a C student.
Yes.
You made it in life.
I made it.
Now
I
we're
didn't
sitting-
make it
and now
yet.
we're sitting in your podcast booth.
So it was very, very, every time that, I would get with my father, I would, show him different projects that I'm working. He was impressed later on in life, but he was still criticized. You should have done it a little bit differently.
Wow.
And every day,
That must have been hard.
It was hard, but it was motivating me. You know what? I'm gonna do something else and something better. And then little by little, it grew. But that was I do the same thing to my kids. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's in our DNA to rub it in that way. But that's how I grew to where I'm at today. I kept going, climbing that ladder.
So what would you say is your biggest achievement?
Achievement. I don't know. Achieving where I'm at today. I think the fact that we have this wonderful studio here that has a podcast, we have a full-blown studio, we provide branding. I mean, I think we're doing okay to our community, and obviously we have other clients that we service.
Wow. So that's and what would you say is your biggest struggle that you had to overcome in terms of building this Kaykov Media empire?
The struggle was very real. I mean, there were times where I just wanted to drop the mic and just walk away.
No
Wow.
way.
I had that many times.
Really?
Of course.
Why?
Clients aren't happy, one job messed up, you lose money here. I mean, all of these happen all the time. But it's how you overcome it and how you fix those problems.
So how did you overcome it?
Just keep going forward.
That's what you got to do.
You got to close your eyes on certain things and keep moving forward.
What do we say? Sheva Yipo Tzadik come. That's
You-
what a
they say-
tzaddik
they-
is. A tzaddik is someone who falls 7 times and gets up. Everyone falls. The tzaddik is someone who gets up.
You said you have to have amnesia sometimes.
Huh?
Okay, you have to have amnesia sometimes.
Oh, short-term memory.
Yeah,
Yes. To all the
Just
people
forget
watching,
the
like,
past.
sometimes
Yesterday
you
was
have
yesterday.
short-term- Yeah.
Old school people are very good at that. Even though yesterday was
Moving
yesterday,
on, short,
we
forget
come,
about
we
it.
show up to each other
You
like
gotta move
nothing
on.
happened.
You have to move on. You have to. You
You
can't have
say
any
dwell on
grudge.
what happens.
tough.
You're
If you dwell on something, that's what's really going to eat you.
Yeah,
So
and
you
it
can't
breaks
dwell.
you. It
Yes,
breaks you.
yes.
You're not the same person anymore.
So wow. So okay. So from president to entrepreneur to overcoming struggles to helping the youth.
Of course.
Mr. Boris Kaykov, you're definitely a role model in our community.
Thank you.
Definitely, especially from from where you came from your passion, from how much you want to help the kids. And we definitely look forward to seeing more. I mean, us talking from an Ami Athletics perspective, you're our biggest sponsor. So definitely, looking forward to seeing more from Kaykov Media. And just a little shout out to you that in terms of from Richie is working around the clock with you. He always tells me how close he is with you and whatever it is. But like just in terms of how much you guys also look to self-improve of like, the first season, there was a camera issue that we weren't getting it. So you guys fixed the camera issue, and then you guys found another person, and then the audio. And then, so you guys are always looking to improve on something that like, you could just say, yo, honestly, I'm doing this as a favor to you. Like, leave me alone. But like, you're not saying that. You're like, listen, I want to make it better. I want to make it better for the guys. I want to make it better for Ami. I want to make it better, which is, it's not an easy thing to say especially when you're doing it out of chesed and out of tzedakah. So we at Ami Athletics, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
From the Bukharan community, we thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, Shabbat Shalom, guys.
Hold on. One more thing. We also have a women's sector for girls, for women who just got married. We have Instagram, Kaykov Munchies. If you want to learn how to cook.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Can we plug it, Michelle? Right? We're gonna plug it over there.
Plug in Michelle. Michelle is the main chef there.
Okay, we're gonna plug the handle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're
Follow
gonna
us on
learn how to
Kaykov
make shorpa.
We're getting there, but yes, we've been actively posting every other day, and we're getting
part
traction.
Part of the culture, part of the Bukharan culture.
Exactly, unity, baby.
Hazak Baro. Shabbat Shalom, guys.
Shabbat Shalom, guys.
Okay, awesome.